Some okay, I think I'm live. Hello, 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 everyone coming in. If you are new to my channel and my live cast, podcast, broadcast, whatever you want to call it, I am known in the credit world as the Queen of Credit. And I was branded that name because of the results that I get in helping people restore, revision, and repair their credit, right? So this is the 5 minutes of fame. What the 5 minutes of fame is you come in, you drop your city and state. Today's two topic, right? We're going to do a dual topic is the second stimulus check. And let me put my timer on. The second stimulus check. Put this sound down. As well as all right, the second stimulus check, as well as Capital One closing the credit limits, right? So this is your 5 minutes of fame. Let's see which angles. Good afternoon. Ms. Lopez is in the house. Hello, Gwen is in, regular person. Gwen from Dallas, Texas. Auburn from Alabama. I'm assuming you was messaging me, Auburn, on this new crypto, some crypto coin you want me to look at. Hello, Patrick Ash. He explained to me the meaning of that. Thank you so much for those kind words. Stay off my, says hello from Greensboro, right? Greensboro, North Carolina is in. We have Shaquita, or is it Shaquita? Ms. Lopez from Ohio. We have Martin from the 313 Detroit, Michigan, right? We also have Cassandra from Birmingham, Alabama in. Hello, Cassandra. Atlanta, Georgia, the ATL, right? That's what T.I. says. You're Southern, not country, right? It's the difference. Refer to our accent as Southern, but not country. Hello, Carol from, oh, it's going so fast, Pennsylvania. We have Brooklyn, New York, Unlimited in the house. Hello, Brooklyn. The Bronx is in. Have Curtis from the South, the dirty South, the Southern South as well is in the house. Hello, B. Don, just wanted to speak. Hello, B. Don, how are you? Yes, Zeus. And Zeus, actually, you brought that up. You mentioned that to me yesterday about Capital One cutting the credit limit. So we're going to look at that and dissect that, right? I just didn't have time to do a live stream after you brought that to my attention and update it, as we are at the 2:20 countdown clock and going. Hello from Houston, Texas is in the house. How many people have not received the first stimulus, right? Jesus. There should be some people that should have received the first stimulus by now. If they haven't received the first stimulus by now, they should definitely look at how their tax refund was provided, meaning that if you got an advance refund, which means the business or the company that prepared your taxes for you paid you out and not patient enough to wait for the government directly. I do know some of those people were affected because the government did not have their direct information on file, right? Hello from Arlington, Texas. Patrick from Arlington. What a beautiful, beautiful place, Arlington, Texas. Nashville, Tennessee. Hello, Carissa. Augusta is in the house. Augusta, Georgia. We have South Carolina in from Periscope. Hello, South Carolina. Right. Louisville. I've been to Louisville. It's in the house. Texas. Louisville, Texas is in. Another ATL, Georgia is in the house. Hello. Is it Christina David, New York? Another New York is in the house. We have Bronx in, and now New York is in the house. A second, Detroit, Michigan, the 313 is in. Hello. Priest Santiago. McKinney, Texas is in the house, right? McKinney, Texas. Hello. Edinburgh, Texas is in the house. Texas is representing. The South is representing. We have some New Yorkers in and things like that. Did I say? Yeah, I think I said Louisville, Texas. Memphis, Tennessee, a different South is in the house. Yes, Gwen said Texas is a big thing. I love to have some cooking from Memphis as our 5 minutes of fame has expired. What I would do to be able, right, to go to Memphis today and get me some good ribs. I might just do that next weekend, right? Before everything just shuts down. Just drive to Memphis and get me some good home cooking. But I'm actually in the process of trying to go vegan just for a little while. I'm gonna cut back on my carb and my meats just because I want to slim down a little bit more, 10, 15 pounds. So I might have to wait a while for that Texas trip. But in the next couple of weeks, I do want some good Texas food. Would love to hear some music as well, right? North Carolina is in by way of Virginia. So let's look at, you all talked about, we got into the stimulus first. And some of the comments were, some stimulus checks were sent to old closed bank accounts. I thought the plastic cards, however, that were sent to some people, I think that was more of experimental type things for people to in certain areas just to see how this digital right system will work. Oh, that is so sweet. Tyrone Williams said, I'm perfect. I don't need the 10, 15 pounds. Well, thank you so much. And your profile picture is perfect. Well, Tyrone, I love that. You have credit cards. I love it. Navy Federal, Citi Card, Chase Freedom, Visa. You have all of the good. Is that the black Amex card? What a handsome profile picture. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. So let's, do I think there will be a second stimulus? I don't know. Let's dissect this and let's see. I'll start with Capital One first. I do know the second stimulus eligibility will be a little different, but we'll get into that. Now, let's begin with Capital One. I don't know if you all are aware, but Capital One banks began to have problems and issues before they cut up their credit cards, right? Before this health pandemic hit, Capital One was closing a lot of their branches and their banking offices, right? Tyrone, I'm reading the comments, you all. Yeah, so Capital One has cut limits. Jesus was the first to really bring it to my attention yesterday. Curtis said some people have contacted IRS and still away from check. Wow. Tyrone said, I wish Alliant Credit Union had cash rewards. Superman, can't wait to work for you. Okay, Superman. Let's get it going. Let's get it rolling, right? Let me get this last 5 minutes of fame in. Flower Child from Georgia is in. Georgia is representing big today. So let's start with Capital One. Just some issues that they had, right, before they began to cut these credit card limits. Now, this article, let me get the date on it, that they were closing dozens of branches and some local. This was February 27, 2020, right? So Capital One as a bank had upcoming issues before this health pandemic as well. Now, if you all remember around March of this year as well, March or April, Capital One closed a lot of branches in Louisiana as well, right? So Capital One banking issues also tie into the credit card limits cut. So they were planning it, or they planned, or they conducted. They closed 37 branches, right, in February across the country. Let me change the screen so you all can see it. So they closed 37 branches February, right? Let me get back. Okay, now I think that's good. So there will be, and then they also announced that there will be a substantial chunk of the bank's remaining network. Capital One had about 474 offices, including traditional branches and things like loan offices across the country by the end of 2019, right? So they took an 8% cut in February of closing their branches anyway. So most Capital One branches are located in New York, Louisiana, Texas, Maryland, Virginia, New Jersey, and DC, right? So it's stated in this article that the reason or logic behind its closing was because the bank is simply responding to changes of customer preferences on how they will manage their money, right? And the entire banking industry is being reshaped. But this is the big point that I want you all to get. This is the big picture, and I'm going to copy and paste this. And this article, it notes the entire banking industry is being reshaped to meet the new digital demands. So why is this a big standout? Why is this such important? People, we are going digital in 2021. Capital One is just the first of many, right, banks that you will begin to see some credit limits close because of the restructuring and meeting digitalized demands. And also the post office, that's why this stimulus package included $25 billion, right, to the post office, right, to the post office as well. And postal banking will make a comeback and will play into this part of this digitalized dollar, right? That's why I guess Auburn guy, he was informing me about some cryptocurrency thing, but I kind of have my selections of cryptocurrency on point, on tap, right? Of what I think and it's, when I say crypto, it falls under the umbrella of blockchain. You can't invest in the stable coins, but you can look at the stable coins to see how the cryptocurrency overall, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, XRP, those are just some names, common names to name a few, how they would be going. And I saw that Bitcoin, the crypto market was making some higher limit, they were increasing, and they had took a dip in the last couple of days, so they were making some of those gains back. So Capital One is the first or the forerunner, but you can't expect this to come. That's why I've been informing you all, right, since January of this year. You need to be a part of credit unions, local and national. Because during times of recession, they're not banks. They don't operate like banks. And then during times of recession or economic reset, like we are experiencing, right, they tend to lend and they still keep their high credit limits. And even if it is a credit limit cut, it's not as drastic, right? It's not as drastic. So Carissa comes in and she also says that Capital One's going through a major lawsuit right now. Okay, and that may be to why they're cutting. Dave Sincere says, I have Capital One card for 18 years. Limit is $8,000. $8,000, never late. no balance in over 2 years. I applied for a credit limit increase, CLI, last week and was denied. They stated my use of the card did not warrant. And Dave, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of these credit limits, not just with Capital One, right? They are, and I'm gonna go back to the article, they are cutting or they are not giving increase because people are simply not using the cards. Now you have two scenarios where people are not using the card, right? Or people are using them because their jobs may have laid off or furloughed and they don't have income coming in, and they are using the credit cards for emergency purposes. And now the banks are noticing more activity than normal, and that will cause a decrease. And so I have some credit cards that I haven't used. They're dormant. But once a month, I will try to recycle, right, and rotate my credit cards to use them for something, just so I can keep activity updated and keep activity on it, right? So just know that this entire banking system is going to be reshaped to meet the demands of the new digitalized dollar, right? The new digitalized dollar. So again, Capital One began closing branches in February, right? Their statement was then that our customers are increasingly engaging with us digitally. We cannot see steady growth in mobile banking. We continue to see steady growth in more mobile banking, online banking, enhanced. You have to listen to the terminology, people. When they say enhanced ATM, this is going to play a part in digital, right? I came before you all last week, told you JP Morgan is making an agreement with the postal office. We had postal banking again from 1911 to 1967 to now bring back ATMs, but you can't be thinking of ATMs as they are today, right? These are going to be different, enhanced ATMs to support the digitalized system, right? Remote deposit capture, right? So they're saying we know many customers still value physical presence to provide assurance, advice, and ability to facilitate and support some of these transactions. So that's why this is where the post office and postal banking comes back into play, because they want to also reach maybe the elderly community, people in rural communities, right, that still has or will be between into this more updated digitalized system. So that's why the post office is a big deal, and having access to those people as well, low income, rural, and maybe the elderly community who may not be as or can't adjust as quickly to this digitalized evolution as the millennial or people that of a younger, right, generation, right? So they don't want to leave these people behind. Now, the article goes on to state this will continue to focus on bridging digital barriers to make sure people have access to online banking, right? You always got to see the bigger picture of things. So it's saying it's not the first time Capital One has trimmed some of its branch network, which has steadily fallen from 702 across the country in 2016. They also have every year acquired Chevy Chase banks, right? Another entity, Capital One had 217 branches by the region. By 2019, that number had fallen to just 104, right? So this is going also towards a digitalized dollar in the banking system. Now, I know a lot of people that come on live will be like, see, that's why we said you can't depend on credit, that cash is still king. These banks can terminate your credit cards or lower your credit limit at any time. Well, let me tell you something. I would rather have banks to lower my credit limit than rather than for me to voluntarily cut up a credit card and close my credit limit. Now, what are some repercussions of this, right? Besides we're transiting into a digitalized dollar system. Well, this will affect people's credit scores in an indirect way. Let's say, for example, you had a $10,000 credit limit, right? You had $7,500 on the card. Your credit limit now is lowered to $8,000, right? Now your utilization rate is higher. And so that will, and this is all a part of FICO 10 as well, credit changes. All of this flows together, people. The FICO 10 credit changes, the digitalized dollar, the government supporting pumping $25 billion into the USPS Postal Service to bring back postal banking. It is bigger than mail-in ballots, right? It's bigger than that. It's about where we are shifting. The biggest transfer, right? The biggest wealth transfer that we will ever experience. And you need to be updated and informed, right? Updated and informed. Now, let me share this with you. And this was a very eye-opener as well, because in this article, it referred to the credit limit decreases to the Great Depression, right? It says some Capital One credit card holders are waking up to find their borrowing limits have been cut. The move could be the beginning of a wave of tightening in consumer credit industry, right? Connected to the fall in the government aid for unemployed Americans. So it goes on to say a Capital One spokesperson confirmed that some customers did in fact have their limits reduced and said that the company periodically reviews accounts based on a variety of factors that make these changes to existing credit lines, right? So not only is it lowering your access to available credit usage, but it's impacting people's credit score, right? So it says some in the credit industry have been warning about the expiration of the $600 a week in additional unemployment aid and of the forbearance programs ending, and they are concerned that people could start tapping into credit to make ends meet and then not be able to pay the debt back, right? All a part of the credit crisis. Now, this is what stood out to me, and it was scary to me. This did happen during the Great Recession, right? People were laid off, the economy worsened, and my credit cards started cutting limits. So is Capital One the only one cutting limits right now? No, they're not, right? There are others. They're happening. They start happening as early as April. I've been telling you all FICO 10 would start, the first phase of FICO 10 would start in July, and it did. And that was the resilience score. That was the first phase of the FICO 10 changes. And let me tell you all, let me get out of this real quick. I think Discover also started cutting credit card limits. And I'll share this with you as well. Some people are saying that FICO score has dropped down from 26 to 19% because of these just drastic cuts or limits in their credit card. But for most people, the scariest part is they don't have emergency credit to use, and they don't have the income as well. That's the bigger picture. I'm always stating that credit can be repaired, right? It can be revisioned, it can be restructured. right? So let me read some of my comments and I'm gonna get back on. The new banks can be virtual. Check out Chase new commercial. Many banks pushing snap picture of check deposit. Anywhere mobile. Let me see. I made a deposit on a check here in Mississippi. It was in June, and everything was digitally done. I had a screen. I was able to look at driver's license on the screen, scan the driver's license, printed me out a receipt for that deposit, right? So what's Chase new commercial? Chase Bank, what's their new commercial, Curtis or Intels? Because I don't watch much television, so I wouldn't know. Tyrone says Alliant Credit Union closed all their branches last year. Oh, wow. Right. They're already 100% digital. Company Bank and Synchrony Bank are cutting limits, according to Curtis. Thank you, Hail to the Queen. How is PenFed thinking about adding and dropping Citibank? PenFed is fine. I love PenFed. But PenFed was one of the credit unions that dropped one of my credit cards credit limit by $10,000, right? So they did do a credit cut on their credit card as well. But I still have a high credit limit with them. I have no problem with PenFed. Navy Federal for me has been better. I have two $25,000 credit cards with Navy Federal. They haven't dropped, and for me, and so Navy Federal is good. One of them was at the 0% balance transfer, in which I purchased some assets on those cards. In order to keep my least used credit cards active, I always use Super Chat. Okay. Thanks. Okay, Zeus. So that's good. You are definitely can Super Chat me if that's a strategy you want to use. Thank you, Luther. Thank you, Luther. Yeah, he did. Thank you. He did give a Super Chat yesterday on the live stream. Thank you, Jesus. Curtis said Discover and Amex is pulling IRS transcripts. Yes, that's the resilience score. They're saying that people, because what people understand with credit cards, right? You could have stated income, right? Which means it requires no proof or verification. You can put your stated income, right, and apply for a credit card. You could also, with a credit card, include your household income, right? Your household income as well. So if it was just you working, your spouse, maybe your another dependent in the house that was working, you can include all of that income as household income. But with the first phase of FICO 10, the resilience score, they are verifying your income and analyzing the future status of your employment. All of this goes into play. I told you all that we would be at this time of the year in a credit crisis. And that's why I was forewarning people. And a lot of people listen, I promise you. I cannot say you all did not listen. I have been overwhelmed, right? This year, this season more than ever with my credit consulting services to, before July hit, to get your credit in a good standing, right? Easy says, people cannot qualify for house jobs because this is set up for certain people not to be able to prosper when creditors lower their credit limits, which affects credit reports. Well, that's true. That's true. But you know what? For the Dave Ramsey people that cut up their credit cards, they're not affected, right? So if you follow that philosophy and you cut up your credit cards anyway, why would you care? But what are they going to do? Because now a part of that strategy and philosophy was to get a second job. There are no jobs. We have millions of Americans unemployed right now. So if they cut up the credit cards, they have no income from a job, right? And if they're not trying to connect with me to start a home-based business to get more income in, then what's the options? Are we going to complain about what the government is doing? Or we're going to recognize that we had an entrepreneur president for the last 4 years, and we should have been shifting our paychecks into the business tax bracket so we can save more money for times like these and have more cash on hand. 1 out of 4 Americans before this economic pandemic hit had less than $400 of cash for emergency savings, right? People don't want to invest in themselves. They want to blame others, right? Latoya said, I was just watching the replay for yesterday. You like? I've been trying to catch up on my live streams because I was so busy and occupied with credit, right? And so I kind of went some days without live streaming. Some banks are playing hold on digital ATM check deposits. Well, that's why you need to convert your cash into other assets as well. And that was one of the main reasons of people wanting Bitcoin for times like these, in which banks were not only lowering credit limits, right, but controlling your deposits and your withdrawals as well. So Bitcoin is a bit more of a decentralized platform, not controlled by banks, right? I am with USAA and their online banking since 2000. Online banking and digital banking is 2 different types of banking, right? Digital banking will include crypto, right? Okay. Yeah, I've always done mobile deposit anyway. I just don't have time many times to just go into a bank. I mean, to stop by a bank. So I've always did most of my deposit mobilely. Navy Fed denied me for a credit card. I've been banking with them for a while. One of the perks of just not having over a 680 credit score with Navy Fed is make sure you have a direct deposit set up with them as well, right? Direct deposit. What jobs are they? Ronald said there are jobs. What jobs are they? Let's see. What's the unemployment rate right now? We're in a recession, people. I just did a video. MGM Studio will be was it? I don't know. It's laying out, was it 18,000 workers? Delta Airlines, American Airlines is laying out, was it 19,000? Coca-Cola is laying out 4,000. Now you have the vehicle industry is going to take the next hit and probably be the next layoff. So how many Americans are unemployed as of today's date? Because numbers never lie, right? 51 million Americans unemployed. So where are the jobs? Numbers don't lie. Show me the jobs. Show me where a person can get 2 jobs in this economy. 51 million Americans are unemployed. Have I heard of fintech cards giving credit based off of AI data and checking or banking activity? No, I haven't. I haven't. Oh, thanks. Someone just gave a $5 super chat. I thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you, Ronald, for that nice compliment as well. Be done. I would really have to do a credit analysis. You can go to my website, www.fixmycreditandcash.com, and because that's not a cut and dry answer, right? I have to analyze your credit report to see why you're stuck at what you're stuck. It can entail a lot of things. You can have low credit cards with low credit limit. Just go to credit help, right? You can have low credit limit cards. One of the qualifying factors, for example, to get qualified for business credit, or some of the qualifying factors are you want at least 2 good standing credit cards, preferably from 5,000 or higher credit limit, 1 auto loan reporting in good standing on your credit report, and either a mortgage or a rent payments. A lot of people sleep on getting their rent payments reported on their credit report. So I would have to look at your credit profile and really answer that question. Just select this tab, fixmycreditandcash.com, go to credit help, and invest in getting your custom credit analysis to get that question answered in detail and thoroughly, right? Business cards are based off revenue. You need some 15,000. That's not true, Curtis. You don't need that sitting in an account to get a qualified for business credit. Okay, Ronald, stay on to the end. Let me go over the second stimulus, and then I'll get you all some information on the home-based business. Mimosa, or Mimo, I hope I pronounced it right. Well, with Bitcoin, what's going to make Bitcoin more valuable is when you're able to use it more for, especially groceries and your goods and services, right? Especially for your goods and services. When that opens up for Bitcoins, right? And there are some grocery stores that are accepting Bitcoins as payment right now in other states. But that's going to increase its value and exchange as well, worth. Curtis, I don't really agree with that. For Navy Federal, everyone, why? I hate unsecured credit cards. I did not start with an unsecured credit card with Navy Federal Credit Union unless you're a person with a very low or thin, low credit score or a thin credit file. I would not recommend it unless those are your situations. So Ronald, you said you get notifications daily about the home-based business. What have you been to this website, Ronald? howtoshiftyourincome.com. And have you watched these 3 videos so you can understand what income shifting is and exactly what the home-based business does or offers, right? So if you get notifications daily, that means you have visited the website, I think you're saying, for the home-based business. And if you have any questions, stroll all the way down to the frequently asked questions about the home-based business on this website. Okay, so Latoya with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Understand the president we had was so key. Right, no room for compliance. Just listen, either you're going to be part of the change or you're going to be left behind. Right? Either you're going to be a part of it or you're going to be left behind. So, Ronald, about the home-based business, watch these 3 videos. It should take you less than 22 minutes. And then frequently asked questions, answer any questions you have about the business. And then we can schedule a sign-up consultation to get you enrolled from there, right? Yes, Andrew said 51 million Americans unemployed is going up. There are many opportunities in this crisis. I just posted on my Facebook that it was during the Great Depression, the Spanish flu, Madam C.J. Walker built her wealth and riches. You can get richer in recession, right? You can get richer in recession. Everything goes on sale, especially real estate. Unfortunately, people will have properties that were bankrupt, right? And you can get those properties for a third of what it would, cost you through bankruptcies, right? And you can own real estate. You can invest in a home-based business that's offering solutions. Virtual home-based business offers solution and passive income right now. Financial solutions, right? Not weight loss tea, not makeup, not real solutions for real problems or what we're experiencing in this economy, right? Whatever else home-based business you can do. I don't know, Frankie. Would it be a third world country? There's an exception for consumer spending. There are counting on declaring sales at the bankruptcy. Ronald, yes, you can make a donation. I don't know, someone can explain it to him. Jesus, if you can. Oh, thank you. He did. Just tap on the $sign. Thank you, Jesus. I appreciate you. Some people are stating SSC has made an amendment rule for Bitcoin. Okay, Ronald said he bookmarked it. That's their website again. Okay, if you just go to my website as well, fixmycreditandcash.com to contact me, send a message. It will go directly to my email. The masses want you Bitcoin, they will use. Yes, it's created by Circle of Goldman Sachs. The IRS is making sure all crypto is taxed. I just did a live stream and I said that as well, that now on your taxes filing, you have to claim specifically any gains that you have in cryptocurrency, right? So that's another reason. If you want to keep more of the money that you're making, right, you need to join this home-based business. Even if you're trading or you are swing trading stocks, cryptocurrency. Fontaine said, what about a home-based business where you receive residual income from paying your bills? I've never heard of a home-based business that pay you to pay bills. Fronte. I like that name. Ronald, my king, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Let's get on the stimulus right now before I lose focus. Thank you so much, Latoya and Ronald, for supporting the channel and the time. So let's get into the stimulus. Second stimulus qualification. This article was just released. It's fresh off the press yesterday. Okay. Second stimulus IRS qualifications. Are you eligible for the next round of payments? If and when, give me 1 second. Let me adjust this. All right. If and when congressional leaders restart talks on a second round of relief payments, anything can happen, including a rule of change dictating, who will qualify. So qualifications, if and when they start discussing this, are subject to change. Congress has not agreed on this yet, who will be eligible to receive the second stimulus check. You do know in the executive order by President Trump, this was not mentioned, but it's expected more people will be included, right, the second time around. If the IRS sends a second stimulus check for up to $1,200, will you be eligible to receive it? How about your children? And what if you don't typically file taxes until the White House and congressional leaders resume negotiations in earnest and another stimulus package is passed? That we can't say that for certain, but we can draw from the first stimulus requirements to sketch an idea of who may get the second stimulus based on income limits and a range of other qualifications, right? So it's possible you may not receive another round of stimulus money, even if you got the last stimulus check. Wow, that's interesting. However, there is a new demographic expected to make the cut for a second direct payment, which could result in more relief from your household. But first, talks must restart. So the talks have not restarted yet, but just last week, Nancy Pelosi and White House Chief Staff Mark Meadows expressed a willingness to resume negotiation. It is critically important we find some solutions, right? But as of today, as of Sunday, as of August 30th, it still remains unclear if they do agree or begin talks about it, the size of the relief package, right? So, from what we know about the stimulus payment qualifications, right, up to date, this could change if talks are resumed. So, they're talking about still, if you are individual, $99,000 under, you're likely to be in the final bill. You're a head of household, less than 146,500. You're likely to be in the final bill. A couple filing joint, making or earning less than $198,000, you'll more than likely be in this final bill. It's saying that dependents of any age could be included. Right? So this is still up in the air until they resume in September. So if they do begin talk about it, more dependents could qualify. Right? More dependents, college students, children over 17, disabled relatives, and taxpayers' parents. Right? So they're saying more could qualify. Now, this is what you all were saying earlier. Who did not, excuse me, who did not get the first stimulus checks? It says single taxpayers with an adjusted gross income, AGI, over 99,000. Head of households with the AGI over 136,500. Married couples who earned over or their adjusted gross income was 198,000. Children over 16 and college students under 24. And non-residential aliens as defined by the United States government. When will the government agree, right, on this second stimulus? Where they are, the Senate is on break until after Labor Day, right? And the House, after passing the USPS funding, nothing has been scheduled. So that's why I'm telling you, you have to ask yourself, why was the USPS funding? I know you all think that the election and mail-in votes is the big part, but no, this is a part of the digitalized dollar too. And so knowing what cryptocurrency will play a major role in that could very well make you a richer person. And so so it's bigger than just the November presidential election, right? But it's saying it doesn't appear that the proposed United States Postal Service bill or the skinny bill would include a second stimulus check. So that's still in the air. I just tell people, if you are working Americans, thank you, Ronald, and you have a job right now, the very first thing you need to do is get more money out of your paycheck. Create your own stimulus. Create your own stimulus, right? If it's released at all, right? B. Don says, thank you. I do have an old credit card from My credit union that's closed with a charge off, but show good standing. I have 3 active credit cards, and I'm gonna fix my income here. Okay. Tyrell Periscope says, don't think there'll be a second stimulus. There'll be one because they're pretending to. Yeah, I'm so glad you used that word pretending. They are pretending to disagree with one another. That's a great way to use. Thank you, Jesus. He's always thanking people for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Both parties are not helping American people by lying, so neither party won't get blamed. Well, the thing about the redistribution of wealth, though, is just the rich is getting richer, right? The rich are the only ones getting richer. That's why I'm trying to let the poor working middle class educate you all on what you need to do so you can get a little bit of the crumbs that they leave from their table. We just discussed Jeff Bezos, and there are so many people now trying to go into e-commerce, but his net worth just increased by $200 billion. He has been one of the biggest beneficiaries of this pandemic, right? And I also inform people that Jeff Bezos and under Amazon pays zero, or for the last 2 years has paid $0 in federal taxes. $0 in federal taxes. He made, for the last 2 years, his revenue was $232.9 billion. $0 of that was paid in federal taxes. However, he also received $137 billion refund from the federal government. And I actually have people that will tell me, well, I make too much money. I don't mind. There's someone that earns $250,000 gross income a year say, well, I don't mind paying back taxes because, I make this much income. I said, well, I would mind if I were you, because Jeff Bezos and Amazon is able to make $232.9 billion and pay zero in federal taxes, and on top of that, get a tax refund. Because I was trying to convince this person that you need a home-based business. It's not about how much money that you make. It's twofold. It's how you make your money and how much of that money you're keeping. And when I mean keeping from the IRS and the Fed, not keeping stuff in an envelope. Did you all know, for example, that your cash must grow at 3% or higher in order to outpace inflation? What is inflation? Inflation is the rising prices of your everyday goods and services, or your living expenses, that only the Fed control, right? We just heard Jerome Powell make a statement about inflation, right, publicly, and the stock market went up. It shot up, right? They control the pricing indirectly and directly. So on average, if this is 3% annually or a year, and your paycheck and your income, your increased pay from your job is not at least 5% a year, you'll always be behind the 8 ball. And for every dollar that you earn, 30 to 40% of that dollar is being taken away from you, meaning you're bringing, or if you are a specialist, soloist, doctor, lawyer, independent contractor, right, self-employed, you're getting 40 to 50% tax. That means you're only bringing home 50 cents on the dollar in most cases. And then the silent tax is the increase in your pricing on your goods and services. What are you going to do? you're going to shift that money back to you, and you're going to get on this side of the cash flow quadrant so you can be able to have some of those same tax deductions that Jeff Bezos have with Amazon. So you can get to the point where you can save $400 in your savings account, right? I'm holding this glass of water. I'm going to make you all joke. Like Eddie Murphy on The Golden Child. You remember when he had the knife and he couldn't spill the water? And he had to walk on the fire in The Golden Child. And then he drank the water and made the fire go down. That's just my little joke. I was just holding that water. So, yeah, Bezos has become $200 billion richer, right? And that's why I try to explain to people, Curtis, that the government give incentives to people who will be a part of a business model. When Trump came into office and made those tax changes, right? I want the knife. Yeah, I want the knife. Every employee, every self-employed person, every specialist, every independent contractor should have immediately shifted their income to this side of the bracket so you can keep more of the money that you make, right? Well, Ronald, I'm sorry, I believe that. He said someday he'll donate $200K. Look, as the church people say, I received that in Jesus' name, right? Another question. How long before your credit score boosts? After the day you pay all credit cards and balances? Go to creditkarma.com. Look at what dates your credit cards report to the credit agencies. It will be called a statement date. If you're going to pay off your credit cards, which I don't recommend at this time, but maybe you have a different strategy, what you want to do. I do not recommend paying off any unsecured debt in a recession, right? But if that's what you want to do, go to Credit Karma, create a free account. Hopefully you have an account. Look at the statement dates. Those are the dates that your credit cards report to Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. Pay them on the statement dates if the statement dates are before your due date, right? Because I don't want you to be assessed with a late fee, right? So if your due date is the 5th of the month, right? And on the 14th of the month is the statement date, then pay it on the due date, right? And just know that by the 14th, it will report that your balance is zero, if that's what you want to do, right? However, if your balance due date is like the 28th of the month and the statement date is the 14th, now you're paying it 2 weeks before the balance due date is due, right? And now it will report to the credit agencies and it will show a zero balance. And that should allow within 5 to 7 business days for your credit score to see an increase, right? So that's how you play chess, right? That's how we play chess, knowing the statement date, the balance date, when it comes to these credit cards and not checkers. I just hope, right? I just hope that, and just know people, all cashiers is a pawn in this game. The queen is the most vertical, mobile piece, right? It can move vertically, horizontally, diagonally. In this credit and cash flow game, she can promote your cash into a king or your pawn into a king. The king, which is cash flow, is the most important. Cash flow is more important than cash. Cash flow is more important than cash. You might be saying, why is that, Queen? Because I look at people with high income all the time. They have low credit scores. right? What is cash flow? It's the money left over after you pay all of your bills, living expenses, your rent and mortgage. But it also represents there's more than one form of cash flow, right? 3 forms of cash flow, right? It also represents that the money flows back to you that you spent out, right? Can that money flow back to you that you spent out? In other words, can you get your money back when you make groceries? Do you get your money back when you pay your bills and your utilities, wherever you rent or reside or pay mortgage? Can you write off the living area of wherever you rent and reside for a tax deduction? Are you in position? We're talking about $1,200 stimulus for each child and or dependent. But through the IRS, right, if you have a home-based business established, you can claim up to $12,400 per child. Stop complaining about the rules and the rich and wealthy and start learning the rules in the game and play with them so you won't be left behind. We can talk about what the Democrats and Republicans should be doing all day. Political trap. Thank you for the $3 super chat. Thank you so much, King. Or you can be about it, right? And play the game by their rules and stop complaining about the rule change. Right? Complaining will leave you broke. I had to pay off my credit cards, but I had to get a car. Don't worry. Okay. All right, so you had to get a car. Hello, Kendra from Michigan. Okay, so you just paid all 3 in full. So thank you. I think my time is up. I really do want to do a live stream later on. I'm about to go to the gym. I've been trying to incorporate 2 a day, but I really do want to do a live stream later on this topic of Black dollars matter, right? We're seeing a lot of Black lives taken at the hand of cops, right? And one of the things I don't think the minority community and 42% of Black businesses small Black businesses have been closed to this pandemic, right? And so I really want to tell people, because I don't think you all know, even Martin Luther King said after the civil rights movement that after he analyzed segregation, he didn't feel like that was the best thing, right, for the community. And so even with Rosa Parks, it wasn't that Miss Parks sat in that seat, right? It was when the boycott happened. When the boycott happened, did changes happen. So we have to position ourselves monetarily and strategically, right, in order to change things in these unjust killings and murders as well. So it's time out for you all to be skeptical, right, about investing and being a part of the home-based business, right? If you want to play the game that they're playing for pennies on the dollar, you need to invest $228 to get in the home-based business, just point blank, period. And if you are fortunate enough to have a paycheck, right, certified experts, certified through the IRS, will analyze your paycheck. On average, people overpay $200 to $600 a month out of their paychecks, right? I just did a live stream and I broke down some of my clients because I said before, low cash flow, doesn't matter your income, right? Cash flow is measured in time. Income is measured in dollars. How often you get paid and how do you get paid? Do you have passive income strategy? See, when I get paid through my home-based business, I get paid first, not the IRS. I file taxes on that money later. Are you paying yourself? See, you're supposed to have 30% of your paycheck allocated to do this, 10% to pay yourself first, 10% to give, right? The rich and wealthy people, they really do give to nonprofits or charitable organizations, and 10% to save. But you know why you don't have that 30% left over? Because you're giving it to the IRS first, right? And you can't give 10% to yourself. You can't give it to the church or to the nonprofit. And you can't save. You can't save. So now you had to get in a situation that now, because of your low cash flow, you use credit cards not to invest, in which you should, but you use it as income, right? Because you're living paycheck to paycheck and you don't have enough left over to survive. And then when prices increase, right? Because I put here taxes cause debt, you definitely can't keep up. I went to a food place, they increased 50 cents. I said, we just increase our price? I mean, 50 cents is a big deal, especially when coins are supposed to be a coin shortage. That's a whole nother thing. I've been telling you all to invest in your silver. Get that silver stacking report on my website. Because did you all know that there are some quarters that have still silver in them? And that's a part of the digital dollar as well. Ronald says, if I pay the initial fee, Ronald, what I love about this home-based business, that if you introduce 3 more people to the business, right, that the business pays for itself, meaning that the additional fee of $79 a month that you would have paid is now waived. I don't like to use the word free because I don't want people to have a free mentality, right? If you own a LLC, if you own a trucking business, if you own a landscaping business, if you own an e-commerce business, right, you will continually need capital to reinvest and buy products and services for their business. But people, for some reason, when they get to a home-based business, they think, oh, I don't want to pay a monthly fee. If you don't pay the monthly fee or investment, you don't get them 475 tax deductions. However, this company, this business, as it's set up, that once you introduce at least 3 people to the business, that is waived. And the only thing you have to pay thereafter is the $40 for the upkeep and the maintenance and the usage of the website to promote and market the business, right? Thank you, Kendra, so much. And you all, don't think I take your super chats lightly. I know where we are financially in this time, and I take time to pray over each and every one of you, that God increases your wealth, right? God said in Deuteronomy 28, whether you believe in the universe or you believe in God or Yahweh or whatever, right, that I give you the power to get wealth. And I pray that everyone that gives into the super chat, that he shows himself in your life and manifests himself in his life, and you are in your life, and you get a revelation of what you need to do to position yourself financially, and also that you get the confidence to take action, right? That he leads you and guides you over what you need to do, what path you need to go. If you need to take a trading course, right? If my path is credit and cash flow. I know my purpose. I know my path, just point blank. Teaching, educating, credit and cash flow. I hope that he revealed that to you, right? As clear as this golden child water that I'm drinking, that he gives you revelation knowledge, connect you with the right people, that you begin to network with people that will shift your mindset so you can shift your income. See, a lot of times we have to change our circle as well. 33% of the people you spend your time with is for people that you can learn from, right? Percent of people that you can grow from or grow with. The other 33% should be people that you can teach, right? And so I pray that financially you are covered during this, and also that you take out the time to listen to what will make you financially prosperous, and that all fear of taking action will be eradicated, right? And that you step out with faith and education, not just faith, and that you come out of this economic better than what most Americans are right now. So is it true that the new stimulus check will not be affected? I don't know if that's true. I just was discussing that it's not even sure right now if the second stimulus will be provided, right? There's no talks of that right now. But I'm going to be honest with you, this billionaire Johnson, I don't even do child support with credit repair, right? Some people have negative child support reporting on their credit. I don't dispute it. I don't help them challenging it. I don't help them challenge that. And I know it could be situations why people couldn't be up to date on their child support beyond their control, right? Just like credit, I don't believe that credit is always a result of bad financial decisions. Sometimes life happens, but in essence, right, that child is not getting the financial support they need. And so I don't even take those credit profiles to help people change that or delete that on their credit report, right? And I tell the people, you find a way to get that up and standing and yourself, and find a way to give that child that financial support. Jeff Bezos paid $15 an hour. Get with Queen, you can bring home. Thank you, Derek. Did you all know too that Warren Buffett, tax-wise, percentage-wise, pays less taxes than his secretary, his employee, percentage-wise, right? Thank you, Kendra. So, okay, you all. So, hey, if I don't work myself out too hard at the gym, I'll be back live in a couple of hours. We're going to talk about Black dollars, Black wealth, why it matters, and how it can help the Black Lives Movement, right? So that's my plans. I'm going to have some educational things for like Master P, just a lot of stuff that I want to get the minority, right? Why Ice Cube made his statement, 42% of Black-owned businesses have taken a hit right now. And why I saw someone kept posting universal income, but we have to get back in unison, right, in our communities, and protecting each other and helping each other to prosper as well, right? All right, you all have a great, great evening. Here's to your health and your wealth, your peace and your prosperity, and your credit and your cash flow. Queen of Credit out.